That's right. It's Twisted Sister. I love this. All right, now we're gonna fix, or work on fixing, a leaky front cover. So, those of you familiar with God's motor, which would be a small block Ford, this is the front cover, but it's set up for a external electric water pump. And on these fittings that go here with the gasket, it was leaking. But also looking at this, it almost looks like it was spraying on where the bolt hole is. But these just have gaskets, and I'm not a huge RTV fan. So my buddy here, Jamie, my co-pilot, he's also a machinist. And we're going to look at machining a groove in the back of this for an O-ring. But we're going to select the size of O-ring we want. And then Jamie's going to educate us a little bit on O-rings and the smash or crush and all that business. So, all right, now let's learn about the crush and the O-ring we're gonna ultimately pick. All right, red is high temp, right? Mm-hmm. I like red just because it looks cooler. And then we've got black, so we've got...
Which is just a Buna type of O-ring.
Buna?
Buna. So
it's good for hydrocarbons.
It's resistant to a lot of chemicals, so you're pretty safe.
All right, but not brake fluid. That's a Viton, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Okay.
We got 3 sizes of rings here.
Look at that. Yeah, it looks new. It's not a gasket. That's just...
It's not...
That one's sand on a surface plate.
I surfaced this on a plate because first of all, you got to have something flat to work with.
Yep.
And I had no idea what this was, and when I did it on the plate, which we can do if you want.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
let's go.
So you can...
Hi Tori, the shop dog today. So this is a surface plate. This is a little better than your grandma's granite on her countertop. A little flatter.
So I just took it on this plate and wiped it here, and you can see the high spots.
Oh.
Which hence made it leak.
Yep. You mean because I thought Permatex fixed all that stuff. No?
Not so much. So you just work it back and forth and back and forth, and you can see you start getting it good.
Wow. What grit is this?
This is 320.
All right.
But you got to have something flat to start with, or you're just spinning your wheels.
So your countertop is great. How much do you figure we're sanding off of this?
Couple 2-3 thousandths probably.
2 or 3 thousandths. Okay.
But the problem is if you're using a gasket and this surface is not flat, you're pulling clear out here, trying to seal here. So you're never going to get it flat. Never going to get it to seal.
And no amount of Permatex is going to make that right.
Well,
at least it won't look good.
But you can see it's cleaning up nicely.
Yeah, look at that. That's totally crazy, the low spot there.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that's from heat that it does that? Like warps like that? Or is that just manufacturing tolerances?
It just could be manufacturing, or there could have been something like a lot of gasket or something here.
Too much Permatex?
Yeah, maybe. And you pulled it down with these screws, caused it to warp.
Never. I never do something like that.
But we're going to fix it by getting it flat to start with, and then we're going to O-ring it.
Perfect. No more Permatex.
Well, we'll try to steer clear of it, see what happens.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to put a file on that and clean that up.
Okay, so what you just missed was Jamie pointed out that, let's see it. What is that?
Damage.
What? What are you saying?
Yeah.
Thread damage?
Yes.
How could that have happened?
Who knows? These kids now.
Somebody put a pair of pliers to that or something, apparently. So we're gonna
3-corner file it.
three-quarter file it.
3-corner.
3-corner. That's what I said.
And kind of get them burrs out of there, so when you use the proper tools to tighten it up. Yes, I said proper tool.
I don't know why there would be pliers applied to those threads, because the fastener gets tightened, not those threads. Oh, the truth is ugly.
Okay, so now we have that cleaned up.
Look at this stuff. All right, what do we got here? This is really cool. We have a surface planer.
Surface grinder.
Surface grinder. Super cool. And this has this really cool magnetic table. So like, can I set this on there?
Sure.
So you put this there, you can move it around, then you flip this guy over like this, and there's no way I'm pulling that off. That's just neat. I'm not a machinist, but I think that's cool.
Not so good for aluminum.
Yeah. What? It's not an aluminum magnet?
Nope, that one's in the shop.
What's in the shop? Okay, he's got this really nice lathe here. Jamie does a lot of work, and you can tell by all the filings back here. That is not a step back there, so that is thick, thick, thick. That's what she said.
So we have to decide on an O-ring size.
Right, right.
And that's what we need to do, right?
Yeah, this is pretty cool, actually. This is what I learned the other day. So we're going to take a look at this and learn something.
So they use a nominal number. We are going to use a 3/32 O-ring.
3/32 is if you measure from edge to
Call it
edge.
section. Mm-hmm.
The section width.
So you cut your groove 3/32 deep, and these O-rings are like 107 thousandths, so you get your crush from that amount.
So show us on that box you were showing me the other day, that lid.
The lid.
The red one. From the other day. It's right down here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is more in depth of what I was just trying to explain.
Yep. So let's do an 1/8 inch. Which one's that?
1/8 inch is over here.
Okay.
So they physically measure 139 thousandths, and 1/8 inch is 0.125. So you're getting 14 thousandths crush, and that's where your crush comes in. That's all it needs to seal. You don't need to throw 20 or 30 thousandths at it to get to seal, because you're just smashing it way beyond what it needs to be. So this 103 is what an 093 would require. So they're putting 10 thousandths on it of crush for the seal. 070 would be for an 062 O-ring. So it gets 8 thousandths. So it's just you can over crush them.
And if you over crush them, then what's the downside to that? Because I thought we would just like make the depth half the thickness and it would have like half the crush, but clearly that's way off. That would be...
that O-ring has to have a place to go. So you cut your groove a certain width.
Yep.
And then your O-ring, if it can't go anywhere, it causes your part to bulge. Material has to go somewhere.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it only is designed to compress a set amount. So
Got it. So this one we're using is 3/32 section width. So the crush on that will be...
well, what was it, 102?
Yeah, I think that's right. And it's 96, you said, right?
93.
93. Okay.
So yeah, it's 103, so it has 10 thousandths crush on it.
10 thousandths, not a lot when you look at a feeler gauge, but this is how it's done right. You get somebody that knows what they're doing.
So now we just got to decide which O-ring to use.
Okay, let's take a look.
And that's just a personal preference. It's a little bit of guesswork. I think that might be a little small because it barely catches the diameter of the hole that we're trying to seal against.
Yep, I agree.
So, and this one I think is a little large.
Yep.
because it goes way out on this piece.
Yeah. And we want to keep some edge to it.
Correct.
And I like the red one anyway, so that one's just
So
right.
Bill's going to get a red one.
Two of them.
Two of them. So, and it gives us a little more room to move around. We don't have to be exact on that. So that's the one we're going to use.
All right.
So
Perfect. Now to the lathe. You going to bring them both? I'll bring it.
You can.
Okay. This one's got the repaired thread on it with the three-sided file.
So what I have here is a little radius cutter in my tool bit.
Well, let's take a look. Okay. This is the radius cutter.
And that's going to cut the groove for the O-ring to set in.
And you made that, right?
That's a store-bought item.
Store-bought item. Okay.
And what I have to know is where that is from the center of our workpiece.
Okay.
So what I did was I took a little piece of scrap material here,
Okay.
chucked it up, cut a groove, and figured out where 0 was, which is that right
He's
there.
got some pretty fancy stuff here.
So now I'm going to take this out because we no longer need it because we know where our 0 is.
And can you hear what Jamie's listening to? That's right. It's Twisted Sister. I love this.
So now I have to get a collet of the right size for
Lots
our
of collets
workpiece.
over here. No, we're not going to take it.
And we're going to close down on these threads.
Gonna smash them real good.
We are not going to smash them. So what I got to determine is what size O-ring that is that we're going to be using.
Hi, Tori. Oh. So you're measuring the ID?
I am trying to measure the center line of it.
Okay.
It appears that it is about 1 3/16. That's 1.187.
See how he just knows that number right off? Like he's done this before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says.
So I got to take half of that because that's the way my machine reads.
Okay.
593.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay. You knew that, huh?
I did not.
So I come over here and I put 593
Okay, so he's gonna
on
set.
my readouts.
Okay, so this thing reads based off of this. So if I move this wheel like this, that number changes. It's really cool. And what's this setup called?
It's just digital readouts.
Digital readouts. Okay.
So what
Seems to
my
make sense.
0 point
Yep.
is spun off the center of the spindle
Okay.
to my cutter. So we go to 593. And that should be the center of our O-ring.
The center of the O-ring.
Correct.
Okay.
So now I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to come in and touch this. And there's our 0 for our depth.
Okay. He set 0 for his depth. He just touched it.
So
You
now
barely cut a little groove in it.
Now I'm going to put a little cutting agent on here.
Some special juice.
Solvent.
Looks like barbecue sauce.
I'm just going to go in here. Now what I'm going to do is go get that O-ring and check it to make sure I didn't.
In case you couldn't hear him because of the lathe, he's going to go grab the O-ring and just check it, make sure we're good. I think we're good, but I got my fingers crossed. Look at all this scrap material down here.
Not scrap yet.
Not scrap yet. Okay.
And it tends to fit this O-ring pretty nicely. So I'm going to come in just a little bit because it's a little tight on the center. And since we're not at full depth and it's on a radius, it'll all clean up.
So if I'm understanding it correctly, you made the width of the groove just a slight bit wider.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so our cross section of our O-ring is 103 and our groove is 0.125. So it has a little bit of room on the sides
Okay.
to expand out as we crush it. And
So it has room. It has room for Permatex, is what you're saying.
No Permatex.
Okay.
No Permatex required.
Look at that. It's just right in there, and it's just, and the depth is right.
Correct.
So I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can. It's sticking out about the 10,000ths. That's super cool. That's super cool.
So that's one.
That's one. All right, one down.
Now we're going to do the second one.
Number 2.
There's still a burr on there.
Whoa, burr.
It's causing it to run not true.
Did you hear that? It's not going to run true. This guy's a perfectionist.
Well, we're doing this to prevent any leaks.
That's right. Prevent
Let's
leaks.
do it right. And we got to pick up our 0 again.
Okay.
There's our 0.
There's 0.
There it is.
That's so nice. Man.
Should be good.
All right. Good stuff. We won't actually know till we get it all back together, but guess is it's going to be better than it was with no Permatex.
So I'm going to go run this over the plate to get rid of any burr that occurred.
Cool. Good idea.
Can't be too careful.
No.
There it is.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, Jamie.
You bet.